I was trying to contemplate what I wanted to say because I'm not really good when it comes to speaking about the passing of someone. I'm not very good at it. A lot of things go through my mind, and I don't want to say the wrong thing. It's very, very hard. It's very hard when someone crosses over to the other side, as it is, whether you know them or you don't know them personally, because if said individual has had such a great impact on your life, whether it may have been personally or I'll be the first one to tell you right now, I did not grow up with Scott Hall. I did not grow up with Scott Hall. I didn't know who he was when I first got into professional wrestling. And then as I got a little bit older, as I got more and more affiliated with pro wrestling, and I got more integrated into what pro wrestling was all about in the first year of my fandom and my love for pro wrestling, my dad, he told me about this one guy that was just so charismatic and so confident, and he just he oozed charisma. He came off so cool. His name was Razor Ramon. And back then, well before YouTube and Twitter and Instagram and Facebook and all these social media platforms became so big, and social media became such a big part of the professional wrestling world, well before all of that, WWE used to actually post full-length matches from past pay-per-views on their website. And one of those matches happened to be Shawn Michaels versus Razor Ramon, 1994, WrestleMania 10, for the Intercontinental Championship, both Intercontinental titles. They had the two titles suspended above the ring, and my dad told me about this match. He's like, you got to go out and watch this match. So me, being 9, 10 years old, I go out and watch this match, and I was so pissed at the time. I was just so pissed at the time when Shawn Michaels lost, because I didn't know who Razor Ramon was. I wasn't affiliated with him, and I knew who Shawn Michaels was, and I was such a big fan of Shawn Michaels at that time. But looking back on it, as time went on, I grew to appreciate what Razor Ramon was and what he did. A lot of people claim that it was Edge, Christian, the Hardys, and the Dudleys that revolutionized the ladder match. No, it was Shawn Michaels, Razor Ramon that revolutionized the ladder match. I get the first ladder match that WWE ever did was Bret Hart, Shawn Michaels at a house show, but without Shawn Michaels and Razor Ramon, there would not be any of these phenomenal ladder match moments that we have seen throughout the years and decades in professional wrestling. There would be no Chris Jericho, Shawn Michaels, No Mercy 2008 match for the World Heavyweight Championship. There would be no TLC 1. There would be no TLC 2. There would be no Face of the Revolution ladder match. There would have not been that phenomenal ladder match with Lars Sullivan, Killian Dane, Velveteen Dream, Ricochet, EC3, and Adam Cole all the way back at NXT TakeOver New Orleans at the beginning of 2018. That wouldn't have existed. There wouldn't have been that phenomenal TNT Championship ladder match that we would have seen, that we saw between Cody and Sammy Guevara just a month and a half ago. There would be no such thing as Money in the Bank without Shawn Michaels and Razor Ramon. They started it all. Shawn Michaels and Razor Ramon started everything in relations to the ladder match being a main staple in professional wrestling. Without them, none of those ladder matches and none of those great matches and moments would have even existed. And just when I thought that he couldn't have gotten any higher than he got, my dad tells me about the NWO, and I'm like, well, Dad, what's the NWO? What do you mean that this guy, Razor Ramon, what do you mean that he did something greater? And he tells me about the match with Randy Savage, Sting was in there. Who else was in there? I know someone else was in there. It was Randy Savage, it was Sting, and someone else. They took on the Outsiders, Kevin Nash and Scott Hall, and they said they found the third man. And Hulk Hogan came out. Hulk Hogan came out and he leg dropped Macho Man Randy Savage, turned heel, the greatest heel turn in professional wrestling history. Nothing will ever top it. He turned heel, aligned himself with the Outsiders, and there were legitimate people throwing trash in the ring at these three guys. Those three individuals were the founding fathers of the single greatest faction in professional wrestling history. It's not DX. It's not the Bullet Club. It's not the Undisputed Era. It's not the Shield. It's not the Wyatts. It's not Evolution. NWO, the greatest faction, not the Four Horsemen. NWO, the greatest professional wrestling faction in history. And the best part about that was how real it felt. Scott Hall was a part of the single greatest event in professional wrestling history, the single greatest heel turn, the single greatest moment, perhaps, in professional wrestling history was Hulk Hogan turning heel, and we get the formation of the New World Order. It was so real that my dad was actually telling me that when the NWO reached their peak and they were attacking people in the parking lot of WCW events, there were legitimate people calling the police because of how real it felt. There were legitimate people calling the police because that moment, the moments that the NWO created just felt so genuine. Like, holy shit, these guys are legitimately trying to take over the company. These guys are legitimately trying to beat the shit out of someone. These people are legitimately criminals in disguise. Scott Hall was a part of that. And I know we say it a lot when someone passes away, how much of an influence they had. But at the end of the day, Scott Hall, undoubtedly, hands down, was one of the most influential figures in professional wrestling history ever. Top 5, if not top 10. No one had the impact. Very few people, if that. Very few people had the impact on professional wrestling like Scott Hall had. On Monday, Scott Hall was put on life support due to 3 heart attacks caused by complications from hip replacement surgery. On Monday afternoon, he was taken off of life support. I was at work, and I checked Twitter. He was still alive when I left work, but about 6-7 hours after he was taken off of life support, he indeed passed away. I read Kevin Nash's statement. It was very, very, very heartbreaking. I'm not an emotional individual, but I nearly shed a tear. I nearly shed a tear at the Instagram post that I read. It was very, very hard for me to ingest that. It was very, very hard for me to digest what Scott Hall actually meant to Kevin Nash. And again, I didn't know him personally. I just knew him from the memories that he created in the landscape of professional wrestling. But I could not imagine how Kevin Nash has felt. And I can't imagine how Kevin Nash feels now. And I know what it's like to lose someone like that, because my grandfather, he passed away April 4th, 2019. It still doesn't feel real to me. I still just want to believe that he's on some long vacation down to Florida and he's coming back any day now, but I know he's not. I can't imagine how Kevin Nash feels, or anyone that was directly affiliated and associated with Scott Hall. It really may sound cliche, but it really does go to show you that tomorrow is not a given, and life as a whole is just, it's so fragile. It's so fragile, and it could all be taken away from us like that, even after successful hip replacement surgery and the complications that followed. It could all just be taken away from us just like that. Undoubtedly, Scott Hall was one of the most influential professional wrestling figures that will ever grace the industry. Ever. He is the definition of timeless. He is part of history, and he will always, always stand the test of time. Everything that man did for the industry, between the NWO and the ladder match and the character that he portrayed and the hey yo, say hello to Razor Ramon. All of that transcended into something that everyone that was a part of that time period, or everyone that was told about Scott Hall and shown the great moments that Scott Hall created, everyone will remember that. There is not a single wrestling fan on this earth who has watched Scott Hall or was told about Scott Hall. No one's going to forget what he did. My thoughts, my prayers, my condolences, they all go out to the friends, the family, and everyone that was directly affiliated and associated with Scott Hall. And I know that this comes up a lot. This topic comes up a lot here. A lot of people say, oh, that guy was one of the greatest to never win a world title. That guy was. No, this guy was. This guy, that guy. If you're asking me who was the greatest individual to never win a world title, I'm going with Scott Hall. I'm going with Razor Ramon. I'm actually still contemplating why Razor Ramon was not given the WWF championship back in the day. I'm actually wondering why we did not see Razor Ramon and Shawn Michaels. That could have been the main event at WrestleMania 10. I would have absolutely have put Shawn Michaels and Razor Ramon on in the last match at WrestleMania 10. Absolutely. I would have had Razor Ramon win the Royal Rumble. If they wanted to, I would have had Razor Ramon win the Royal Rumble. Shawn Michaels and Razor Ramon, they could have an Intercontinental Championship ladder match to open WrestleMania 10, and then I would have had Scott Hall, Razor Ramon, go on to face Bret Hart in the main event of WrestleMania 10 and win both the Intercontinental and the WWF Championship. That's what I would have done. If there's one guy that's the greatest to never win a world title, if you're asking my opinion on that, I'm going to go with Scott Hall. My thoughts and prayers, like I said, they go out to everyone that was affiliated and associated with Scott Hall. Scott Hall, one of the most influential figures in professional wrestling history, and his legacy will live on forever. His legacy will absolutely live on forever. And I was really taking my time getting on the stream today because, again, I didn't know what to say. I didn't know what to say. I was contemplating going back and forth with myself about what I wanted to say. Again, it was very hard for me, but I can only hope that for the 15 minutes that I spoke about him, I'd like to hope that I did Scott Hall justice. I'd like to hope that I did Scott Hall justice. We're going to continue on with the stream. We have a lot to talk about. It was a very newsworthy week in the world of professional wrestling, and more news will follow as we get closer and closer to WrestleMania. Doesn't feel like WrestleMania. Matter of fact, there's probably only 2 or 3 matches that are actually worthy of being on that show. But we're going to talk about everything leading into WrestleMania. We're going to talk about Raw, SmackDown, AEW, NXT UK, and a lot of interesting news, rumors, and reports that many of you might be interested. For those of you that don't know who I am, hey, yo, say hello to DJ Storms. The one and only DJ Storms, that is yours truly. Thank you very much for joining me here on the channel. Thank you to Lisa, Dee Dee, Adam, Carl, Drew on the beat. Greatly appreciate you dropping by. Haven't seen you in a little bit. Happy that you've decided to drop by. Thank you to DJ Sums. We have a lot of material to discuss. We have a lot of material to talk about, and we're not going to waste any time. But first things first, please make sure, if you haven't already done so, follow me on social media at real_DJ_Storms. That is real_DJ_Storms on both Twitter and Instagram. Please make sure you go follow me there. Add me on Facebook for collaborations and business inquiries. Please be sure that you send me an email. My email is, of course, StormsTakeOver@gmail.com. Like the official DJ Storms business page, and I may just send you an invite to join the official DJ Storms Posse group on Facebook. That is. All of those links are in the description. Of course, next week, we got the Lightning Flash update for March 26th. And then on March 27th, I'm going to do a dual rundown. I'm going to do the rundown for NXT Stand and Deliver and WrestleMania 38. So we're going to be reviewing and previewing and predicting a lot of fucking matches. We're going to be reviewing and predicting a lot of fucking matches. I got Christina Diva, who, if you guys are aware, she was one of the guests on Earl Cole's Revolution preview and prediction show. And I was very happy to work with her. She is a great individual, very funny, very easy to talk to, and she has a very, very good mind when it comes to professional wrestling. So I'm very much looking forward to working with her, and I might be getting a second guest on. For the first time ever, we might have two guests on the rundown. So I'm looking to get her and another guest on the show as well. A little heads up for everyone. I am not going to be live on April 2nd. Saturday, April 2nd, I'm not going to be doing a rewind for WrestleMania or NXT Stand and Deliver, and I'll tell you why. I will not be live that weekend. I'm just going to be watching the shows and relaxing. Because April 2nd, I actually have a reservation at Mount Fuji. No, I'm not going to Japan. Not the actual Mount Fuji. Mount Fuji is a Chinese-Japanese restaurant in New Jersey. It's about 35 minutes, 40 minutes away from my house. I'm going to be going to Mount Fuji because April 2nd, it's, I don't know, some dickhead's birthday. Some dickhead's birthday with jet black hair and a sideburn chin strap combo, a beautiful mustache. I don't know, he has a YouTube channel. He's from New Jersey. He likes pro wrestling. He's going to be 23 years old. I don't know. Do you guys know anyone like that? I don't know. I can't decipher who it is. Anyway. I'm not going to be live that weekend. You guys can survive with me. You guys can survive without me for one weekend, okay? You guys can survive without me. But I'm not going to be live for that weekend, so please do not plan on coming to the channel that weekend. On top of that, if you haven't already done so, please like the video. We have a lot of news and rumors to dissect, and we're not going to waste any time after I'm done with what I'm talking about, the self-brand promotion, the advertisements. So please make sure you hit the like button when you come on in. Please make sure that you share the stream out on all platforms of social media. I'm talking about Twitter, Instagram, Pinterest, Tumblr, Facebook, TikTok, and Snapchat. Whatever social media platforms that you use, please make sure that you share it out on social media. All right? Share it out on all platforms, social media that you might have. Even if you got a fucking OnlyFans, even OnlyFans needs a little dose of DJ Storms. They need a little dose of Mr. Controversy. Not in that way, but we need a little bit of wrestling analytics on OF every now and then. On top of that, please make sure you hit the subscribe button and hit the notifications bell with a huge coup de grace. That way you will know whenever I pop up on YouTube, because whenever I pop up on YouTube, baby, it is the best time to be on YouTube. You already know everybody wants a piece of the StormsMeister. Everybody wants a piece of the StormsMeister. Anyway, enough of the self-brand promotion and the advertisements. We are going to get right into the news, rumors, and reports. I will check the chat in a little bit, but for now, we are dissecting the latest news, rumors, and reports. We're going to start off with some NXT 2.0 news, rumors, and reports. A lot of NXT 2.0 news, rumors, and reports. PW Insider confirmed that ROH superstar Rok-C has officially signed with WWE and will be a part of NXT 2.0. But wait. I thought you had a mentality in which you wanted to hire failed football players. Well, what about baseball players and lacrosse players and cheerleaders that don't know one fucking thing about pro wrestling? I thought that was the mentality now in NXT. Oh, you're realizing that shit ain't going to get the job done. And that's going to be a common trend when I'm talking about NXT 2.0. The hypocrisy in NXT 2.0 is ridiculous. My only conclusion as to why they signed Rok-C is because she's young. I don't know how young she is, but I would like to believe she's probably like in her early to mid-20s. She's young. So at the end of the day, WWE wants the youth, right? So they go and sign Rok-C. I'm not familiar with Rok-C's work. I don't know much about Rok-C, so I cannot say anything about Rok-C, but I do believe that she was on Impact Professional Wrestling, and Deonna Purrazzo actually beat her to become the Impact, or not the Impact. She was a AAA Women's Champion, and then she became the Ring of Honor Women's World Champion. I'd like to believe that, considering she's the Ring of Honor Women's World Champion, we'll be seeing her on Ring of Honor, which means we could be seeing her in AEW soon. So I'm actually very excited about that. I'm a big Deonna Purrazzo guy. She is a Jersey girl. I got to support my Jersey girls. I've seen her wrestle before, well before she became the Virtuosa, well before she got this badass Virtuosa mentality. So I cannot wait to fucking see what she does. But Rok-C, I'm not familiar with her. I'm actually looking forward to seeing what she can do. Maybe I'll look up some of her matches later on, but we'll see what happens there. Rok-C has officially signed with NXT 2.0. A superstar whose contract of NXT is actually set to expire is Candice LeRae. According to Fightful, Candice LeRae's WWE NXT 2.0 contract is set to expire in the spring. Now, I'm not sure what day exactly it's set to expire, but considering she was on a maternity leave, she was not competing because she is indeed pregnant, I'd like to believe that she'll probably get more time added to her contract. I don't know. I don't necessarily know. I'm not sure if she's going to come back anytime soon. I'm not sure if she's going to hire a babysitter or whatever. I'm not sure if she's going to be called up to the main roster. For all we know, after she comes back, she could be fucking released because she is not what they want out of a professional wrestler. But one thing that I'm actually interested in regarding Candice LeRae's contract expiring is what's going to happen with Johnny Gargano. I don't know what's going to happen with him. Now, I'm not sure if he's taking some independent bookings here and there. He probably could take some independent bookings here and there. But the one thing that I'm most concerned with is what's going to happen with Johnny Gargano as it relates to AEW. Could we potentially see Johnny Gargano in AEW? And if so, is that going to play into effect with what WWE does with Candice LeRae? Because Candice LeRae, again, she's on a maternity leave, and you have to imagine that WWE is probably paying her. If Johnny goes to the competition, are they going to mistreat Candice LeRae? Because they did it with Miro and Lana. They did it with Matt Hardy and Jeff Hardy as well. They mistreated Jeff Hardy when Matt Hardy went over to AEW initially. They mistreated a lot of fucking people. They mistreated a lot of fucking people when their other half went over to the competition. That's the one thing that I am actually going to keep my eye on. I don't know what's going on with Candice LeRae. To be quite honest with you, I actually see her resigning because if she is going to be a mother, then she's probably going to want to take the biggest offer that she could possibly get. Now, she could probably get the same amount of money in AEW, but with AEW, you actually have to work. You're not fucking sitting and catering for X amount of months. But Candice LeRae maybe knows that, hey, you know what? Maybe I got this baby. Maybe I need to ease into being a mother. And I'm probably not going to be asked to work too much with WWE because they got their own initiative or narrative with NXT 2.0. Maybe I don't need to go to AEW and work. Maybe I'll just stay with WWE and take the easy money. Now, I don't mind that with Candice LeRae only because of the fact that she is a mother and she's got to support her kid. But after the first couple years, I think Candice LeRae should definitely think about migrating because I want to see Candice LeRae succeed. She's not going to find any success in NXT 2.0. So we'll keep our eyes on that. Here's the big story for NXT 2.0. And I've wanted to discuss this. In the last couple of weeks, we've seen a lot of WWE main roster talent appear on NXT. Dolph Ziggler, The Miz, Rey and Dominic Mysterio. Dave Meltzer actually reported that WWE will be using main roster talent on NXT from time to time to build up the brand. Boy, oh boy, do I have a lot of shit to say about this. I'm going to have a field day with this. So Meltzer stated, and I quote, "Yep, we'll see how that does. I mean, that's the big thing. The strategy to build the developmental brand, to have a star from Raw on the show almost every week, and to plus that on Monday to build to Tuesday. They didn't shoot any angle on the show, but they did plug Miz being there with Dolph Ziggler. No Braun Breaker and Tommaso Ciampa. They were supposed to be on the weekend house shows. Breaker was on the weekend shows. Ciampa worked today's show, but he was on main event. He was not on Raw. So they've been around." End quote. Now, I don't necessarily have anything against the main roster stars that appeared on NXT, except for The Miz. The Miz fucking sucks dick. I'm still gonna say he needs to fucking retire. There's no use that The Miz has in the professional wrestling industry anymore. He has zero value. Ever since his feud with Bryan in 2018 ended, he has been a worthless piece of trash, as The Miz. But Rey and Dominic Mysterio, they could give NXT 2.0 and the tag team division a real kick in the ass. Dolph Ziggler's always been great. And listen, I'm going to go on record. I even tweeted this out on Tuesday watching NXT 2.0. This is the best Dolph Ziggler that we have seen since his feud with The Miz in 2016 ended. Dolph Ziggler has not had one dud in NXT since he started showing up a month ago. A great match with Ciampa. Great triple threat match. He's going to have a great match with Braun Breaker. He had a great match with LA Knight. Dolph Ziggler has been working his fucking ass off. This has been the best Dolph Ziggler that we have seen in WWE in almost 6 years. And I respect that. Here's the problem that I have. Why exactly wasn't this being done when Triple H was involved with NXT? Triple H was involved with NXT for how many years? 7 years? 6, 7 years? 8 years? Why exactly was this not being done back then? Don't you think back then Dolph Ziggler would have really benefited from going down there to NXT? Don't you think that back during NXT when we had Ricochet there and Black there, Gargano was at his peak, Ciampa was at his peak, Adam Cole was down there. What about Killian Dane, Insanity? Don't you think Roderick Strong too? Don't you think that maybe Andrade was down there too? Maybe you could have actually rejuvenated Dolph's career 4 years before 2.0 came about? What about a Rey Mysterio? What about someone along those lines? What about an Enzo and Cass? They could have gone down there. Why exactly is it being done now, but it was not being done then? I mean, it has become increasingly obvious that they are just doing this just to shit all over Triple H. Every single time a main roster superstar came back down to NXT, it was either done because they moved to the USA Network and they were trying to beat AEW and they failed, or Vince McMahon gave Triple H these superstars that he didn't give a shit about, that he already buried. Superstars like Fandango and Tyler Breeze and Apollo Crews, who were already treated like shit at that time. They sent them back down to NXT for a couple of one-off appearances, and then they went back to the main roster and never used them again. NXT should have, and it was, but WWE absolutely destroyed it. NXT should be the legitimate third brand in WWE. NXT should be the legitimate third brand in WWE where superstars could go down there to help rejuvenate their career. Why is there such a disconnect between the main roster and NXT? There should be no disconnect. The problem, and I've been saying it for fucking years, the problem is Vince McMahon is so fucking delusional. He thinks he's God and he can do no fucking wrong. He thinks that everything that he does is perfect. He thinks that everything that he does is sunshine, rainbows, and unicorns, and nothing can go wrong. Oh my God, it's such good shit. And then everything that Triple H does, oh, it's such a terrible thing. What are you doing? There's no selling. There's no storytelling. This guy will never be a WrestleMania main eventer. All this bullshit. And Triple H, he's out here doing professional wrestling 50 times better than Vince McMahon ever could in the modern era. Triple H was embarrassing and upstaging Vince McMahon all those years in NXT. And Vince McMahon, every single time that we had a main roster pay-per-view, there was a takeover that preceded it, Vince McMahon was put to shame. At every single show that we saw Vince McMahon put on, it would not even come close to anything that we saw at an NXT TakeOver New Orleans, or an NXT TakeOver Philadelphia, or an NXT TakeOver New York, or an NXT TakeOver War Games. Nothing would even come close. Nothing. Vince McMahon and his deluded, stubborn mentality destroyed the best thing about his company because he could not admit that he's wrong. He will literally die on this hill. I would not be surprised if he's legitimately trying to take this company into the grave with him. Vince McMahon will die on the hill that he is God and he can do no wrong. If you are the CEO of a massive global company like that, you should not have that mentality. Admit when you're wrong. Tony Khan admits when he's wrong. Tony Khan works to get better. Tony Khan works to make the environment backstage the best it could possibly be. It's not perfect. Nothing will ever be perfect. But he does what he can in order to make the environment as best as it could possibly be. And he does whatever he can to make sure that everyone gets the equal opportunity and the fans get their fucking money's worth. Meanwhile, Vince doesn't give a shit as long as he has money in his pocket. He is too fucking stupid to realize that his way ain't cutting it anymore. And then along comes Triple H. He steals the show every fucking week with NXT. And then Vince McMahon decides to destroy it. And if he sends a main roster superstar down there, they just go right back up to the main roster after it's all said and done. And Triple H, in one night, he makes an Apollo Crews look like he should be main eventing WrestleMania. Meanwhile, Apollo Crews doesn't get 1/75th of the opportunity from Vince McMahon that he gets from Triple H. And now we're seeing main roster superstars on NXT now because now Vince is realizing, oh shit, the ratings are going down. Rampage beats NXT some weeks. If Rampage in a shitty 10 p.m. time slot is beating what should be your legitimate third brand of your company on a Tuesday from prime time 8 to 10, that right there is fucking pathetic. Goes to show you that your way ain't working. So what does Vince do? He tries to mask his fucking failures by bringing in superstars like The Miz and Rey and Dominic Mysterio and Dolph Ziggler, as if that's going to help the fucking brand, as if that's going to generate any interest in a brand that you killed 7 months ago. People try to justify this shit. If you try and justify this shit, I got no problem looking you dead in the eye, and this is going to be used a lot throughout the fucking stream. I got no problem walking up to you dead in the face and calling you exactly what you are, a fucking retard. Desperation right down to the very last letter, and it is absolutely fucking pathetic. Absolutely pathetic. Rey and Dominic Mysterio could be great. Dolph Ziggler, he's been doing great work in NXT, but the motive behind it is something that I will never support and I will never turn a blind eye to. and neither should you. And if you are, you're part of the fucking problem. You are the cancer of the IWC, not me, motherfucker. Moving on, let's actually talk about AEW for a minute. According to Denise Salkadoo, fucking toxic positive loser, Denise Salkadoo, that is, of Fightful Select, Joey Janela will not be resigning with AEW when his contract expires in the spring. I believe it expires on May 1st. Let's talk about Joey Janela for a minute. Joey Janela is fantastic. Joey Janela is amazing. Joey Janela is one of the most underrated talents in the modern day era of pro wrestling. Everyone thinks he's just a deathmatch specialist. He's not just a deathmatch specialist. Joey Janela can actually fucking wrestle. He has had a lot of opportunities to showcase to everyone how good he is. He's had a great match with Hangman. He had a great match with Omega. Great match against Jon Moxley. Great matches against Sonny. He brought Sonny Kiss to his best fucking match in AEW today. No one else did that but Joey. Joey was the one that brought Sonny Kiss to his best match in AEW ever. Joey Janela is a phenomenal individual. He has everything that you need in order to make him a solid mid-card guy, a solid TNT champion. He's had a great match with Darby Allin as well. Joey Janela is a very good professional wrestler. He's got the charisma. He's got the wrestling ability. He's got a good look. He's got a nice, cool look, the bad boy look. Joey Janela is great. I had him on the channel for an interview. Very funny guy, very charismatic guy. The problem with Joey Janela is that he's in the same boat as Brian Cage. And I'm not saying that he's not good. He's phenomenal. There's just people that are ahead of him. There's just people that have more upside than Joey Janela. Sammy Guevara, Darby Allin, Andrade, Malachi Black, Buddy Matthews, Jurassic Express, MJF, Wardlow, Men of the Year, Britt Baker, Thunder Rosa, Ty Conti. All of these individuals, they got more upside than Joey Janela. And some people would rather see those guys than Joey Janela. That's not saying that Joey Janela is not good. There's just people who are better than him. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. That's not necessarily a bad thing. Am I a little disappointed? Yeah, I'm a little disappointed because I want Joey to succeed. But he said that his heart belongs to the indies. And he is very, very, very content with doing the work that he does with GCW and various other promotions. Joey Janela is very good at what he does, and no matter where he lands, he will succeed. Because Joey Janela is a very versatile, very witty individual. Is there a possibility that he could come back? Maybe. I hope he does. I hope he gets another opportunity from time to time. But if he's going to have to leave, then he's going to have to leave. And at the end of the day, all we can be happy about is the fact that Joey Janela did get some star power increasement from being associated with the second biggest pro wrestling company in the world. And we could very well see Joey Janela ask for more money wherever he goes because he's got that name value from being a part of AEW. Not everyone is going to be a prominent figure on television. Not everyone's going to be a big-time player on television. But what Tony Khan is doing is Tony Khan is making sure everyone gets a little piece of the pie and he makes sure that people gain some name value from AEW so that way when they go back to the indies, if they choose not to resign, then Joey Janela, guys like Janela, will inevitably be better off for it after his AEW career is over. Who knows? Maybe Joey comes back in Ring of Honor. Maybe Joey and the name value that he's accumulated, maybe he rejuvenates that again on the independent scene. And then when Ring of Honor starts their weekly programming, like Tony Khan said, maybe we inevitably see Ring of Honor bring in Joey Janela. Maybe Joey Janela can get in there with guys like Jay Lethal and Jonathan Gresham and Swerve and Alex Zane, people like that. It's going to be a very interesting scenario, but at the end of the day, one thing is for sure. Joey Janela was absolutely helped out by AEW, and if the door's open for a return, I'd love to see him return. Joey Janela is going to be great wherever he goes. And I actually do hope to get him back on the channel one of these days. He's a very funny guy. Speaking of the independent scene, well, not really the independent scenes, but a company outside of AEW and WWE, New Japan Pro Wrestling. I do believe that New Japan Pro Wrestling, they got a show coming up on April 1st, if I'm not mistaken. They got a show coming up on April 1st, if I'm not mistaken. And I do believe that it's, what is it, April 1st, April 2nd? It's like a New Japan Pro Wrestling show in, what is it in Dallas? Is it in California? I don't know. But either way, I believe they got a show coming up on April 1st. Killer Cross has challenged Minoru Suzuki to a match at the show. I don't know about you guys, but I'm actually very much looking forward to that match. That is going to be phenomenal right there. So good on Killer Cross. Moving on to the next report. I got a report on the Briscoes. And no, it's not the big spontaneous announcement of the Briscoes and FTR fighting for the Ring of Honor World Tag Team titles at the Ring of Honor Supercard. I got a report from a Time Warner media source, and they stated that no one should expect to see the Briscoes in AEW right now. Warner Media and an AEW talent that apparently has a lot of influence. Warner Media sources told Fightful that a person of influence in the company did not want the duo signed to AEW, specifically due to Jay Briscoe's homophobic tweets from 2013. Listen, I'm not going to try and justify what was said. I don't even know what was said, to be quite honest with you. I did not follow the Briscoes in 2013. I didn't even know the Briscoes existed back in 2013 because I was just a WWE mark in 2013. I understand why, but at the end of the day here, this just goes to show you how fucked up and pathetic society really is. Jay Briscoe already apologized for those comments, and he donated his pay for the next few shows to an anti-bullying charity back then. It has been 10 years since this scenario took place. 10 years. It has been 10 years, and people are still trying to cancel them for it. They're trying to spin their own personal narrative. They're trying to gang up on them, and they're trying to cancel them because they think that they're all prim and proper, and even though they apologized, it means nothing. Whatever fucking stupid ass narrative that they want to twist. I am here to tell anyone, I don't give a shit who you are. If you're one of these individuals that's trying to cancel someone and dox someone, and you're trying to prevent someone from gaining opportunities in whatever profession that they have just based off of words, I'm going to tell you right now, you're a fucking thin-skinned pussy, and you're the problem with society. Get the fuck over it. Get over it. What he said obviously was wrong, but at the end of the day, if he apologized, he did what he needed to do, you move the fuck on. You move the fuck on. And now they're saying a person of influence in the company did not want the duo signed to AEW. Not many people have real influence back there in AEW. I can only name you a few. Maybe Chris Jericho, Kenny Omega, the Young Bucks. But I don't see a reason why any of those individuals, Bryan maybe, Moxley maybe, but I don't see a reason why any of those individuals would go out of their way to try and prevent the Briscoes from being signed. The only guy with actual influence backstage that I can see preventing the Briscoes from getting into AEW is CM Punk. Now listen, CM Punk is one of my favorite superstars ever. He's in my top 3 greatest superstars of all time, right up there with The Undertaker. CM Punk is great. And I will always be a fan of CM Punk as a professional wrestler. But let's be real. As an individual, I don't know Punk personally, but from what I see on social media, Punk's a fucking retard. As a person. Phil Brooks is a liberal beta cuck. He comes from the most trashiest part of the Midwest that supports everything and anything liberal in Chicago, Illinois. So right then and there, you know he comes from a city of fucking retards. Look, you may be from Chicago and you may be a nice individual. I don't really care at the end of the day because let's be real here. Liberal practices that come right from Chicago, liberal people are fucking animalistic domestic terrorists at the end of the day. Liberals are fucking morons. And at the end of the day, no matter how great of a wrestler CM Punk is, CM Punk is a liberal fucking retard. And that's just a fucking fact. Liberal practices do not work. Liberal practices do not work. There hasn't been one solid liberal practice that has actually fucking worked. All these liberal practices are based off of false narratives and agendas, and they want to claim that racism is still here. No, it's not. Or this guy's sexist, that guy's sexist, homophobia this, homophobia that. Whatever fucking bullshit that they want to spew. And what's even worse is that the public, a good portion of the public, they've actually given in. They've given in, and they've been brainwashed by this delusional bullshit. CM Punk is one of those individuals. Now, I don't know if he's actually the one that is preventing the Briscoes from coming to AEW. I don't know. And for all we know, he could not be. I don't know. But whoever it is clearly is a thin-skinned cuck. Whoever it is clearly is a brainwashed, delusional fucktard. Let's be real here. I don't give a shit who you are. I don't give a shit what your fucking history is. Words are words. And don't give me this bullshit, oh, words can hurt. I don't give a shit. If the words are not specifically directed towards you and they're from a fucking stranger who you met on social media and they have no direct affiliation on your life in general, why the fuck do you care? If anyone is being ridiculed for something that happened 10, 15, 20 years ago, you need to fucking reevaluate your priorities. Enough of this cancel culture bullshit. And don't give me the bullshit, oh, it's accountability. The accountability took place back then. It's words. It's words. For all we know, he could not believe that shit. If he already apologized, which he did, and he already donated his money to an anti-bullying charity campaign, it's over. It's done with. Get the fuck over it. Move on with your life and stop being a thin-skinned bitch. Simple as that. No Briscoes in AEW because that bullshit. Who the fuck cares what happened 10 years ago? Shit's over and done with. People still try and cancel Sammy Guevara for the stupid comments that he made. He already apologized. He went through the sensitivity training. Sasha accepted his apology. Yes, she did. Don't try and tell me that she didn't. You fucking retards. Get over it. Fuck. I hate, the more I hear shit like this, the more my hatred and disdain for legitimately everyone and everything grows. I fucking hate everyone. I really do. And this certainly ain't gonna fucking help my case either. This certainly is gonna make me more angry. Listen to this. WrestleVotes provided a very interesting report on Thursday afternoon. They tweeted out this, and I quote, source states, the long-awaited WWE United Kingdom pay-per-view return will take place Saturday, September 3rd at Principality Stadium in Cardiff, Wales. That is the same weekend as AEW's all-out pay-per-view, end quote. Really now, you're doing a UK event same exact weekend as All Out pay-per-view. And AEW, they got plans to go to the UK at some point, but I thought AEW was in competition. Oh, I thought that, I don't see AEW as competition like I saw WCW as competition, and they have self-mutilation with their women. Really? But you're openly doing a United Kingdom pay-per-view in a big stadium well before AEW plans on doing shows in the UK, and you're over here claiming, oh, yeah, AEW's not competition, but yet you're trying to host a big pay-per-view the same fucking weekend as All Out? Yeah, AEW ain't competition. AEW ain't competition, right? If people actually fucking believe that this has nothing to do with AEW, holy shit. Retard alert, people. Retard alert. Fucking ridiculous. More and more. The more and more we go further and further into the years as AEW gets older, the more and more intimidated WWE gets from AEW. We got a hot crowd here. Look at this. We got Indigo. We got Earl Cole. We got Dylan Ketchum, Adam Carl. Got a lot of good people in. I saw Matt Moody in here earlier. Got a lot of good people. Thank you guys for joining. You guys are fucking awesome. Thank you for choosing me on your special Saturday afternoon. Please make sure when you come on in, you hit that like button and you share out that stream on all platforms, social media. You guys are the best of the best. Not as good as DJ Storms, but you're still good. Trust me on that. You know I had to get that in there because I'm a sly dick. Here's a little interesting tidbit of news, a very minor piece of news here. According to Fightful Select, several AEW talents talked to Warner Media to appear on their shows, and the same outlet reported that Darby Allin had already recorded content for one that would be called Darby's Day Off. So I'm not sure if this is going to be similar to Roads to the Top. I'm not sure if this is going to be similar to like a reality television show. To be quite honest, I don't give a shit. If I'm going to be real here, and I don't understand how anyone really invests their time in what the wrestlers do outside of pro wrestling, but if it's not pro wrestling related, and if it doesn't have to do with a ring and two people wrestling, I don't really care what these individuals do. I don't give a shit what Darby Allin does in his off time when the camera's off. I don't give a shit what Sammy Guevara and Ty Conti do in their own time when the camera is off. I don't give a shit what Kenny Omega does or what video games he plays in his own time when the camera's off. I don't care. All I care about is what goes on when the camera is rolling. Whatever happens behind the scenes, not my business. Just put on a good show. I don't care. I certainly won't be watching this, but if you guys are interested in that, that right there is something for you. My last report, and then we're going to get into the weekly show reviews. I only reviewed 4 weekly shows this week: Raw, Dynamite, NXT UK, and SmackDown. I did watch NXT, but fuck NXT. I did watch Rampage, but I didn't take any notes on it because, quite frankly, it was late. I just wanted to relax. I didn't really care too much for it. But we're going to get into the weekly show reviews very, very, very soon. My last report, and again, I'll have a field day with this one too. On Wrestling Observer Radio, Dave Meltzer talked about Cody Rhodes. Oh, no, not that one. The Cody Rhodes news first. I got a little sidetracked there. Cody Rhodes news first, and then we're going to go into the Eric Bischoff news. Dave Meltzer talked about Cody Rhodes, and he stated that if Cody is to be used by WWE, if he signs, then Seth Rollins would be his ideal opponent. A couple of days after that, I believe it was yesterday actually, PW Insider indeed reported that Cody Rhodes has signed with WWE and he inked a deal about 10 to 14 days ago. Now, a lot of people are concerned about this. A lot of people are wondering, well, what's going on with this? What's going on with this, right? No matter what anyone wants to say, no matter what narrative anyone wants to twist, no matter what type of agenda they want to spew, no matter what type of bullshit they want to tell you, Cody Rhodes does not need World Wrestling Entertainment. It's actually the other way around. What we have here is a very, very interesting scenario. What we have right here is something that could very well change the tide. WWE has been getting their asses kicked by AEW for the last 3 years now. WWE has not come close to anything that AEW has been doing, no matter what anyone wants to tell you. What we have right here is a scenario in which WWE could very well rejuvenate the interest and the buzz in their company. I am not a tribalist. I'm not a tribalist. I have no agendas. I have no personal preferences or bias. I do not have any narratives. I do not favor one company over the other. I do not want one company to die while the other one succeeds. I want pro wrestling to thrive. I am a professional wrestling fan. And at the end of the day, both of these companies are pro wrestling companies. The problem is that WWE has adopted this farce of a concept called sports entertainment. And I don't care what anyone says. If you actually believe sports entertainment and pro wrestling are the same thing, I got no problem walking up to you, looking you dead in the eye and calling you a fucking retard, because you are one. Sports entertainment and pro wrestling are not the same thing. Get it through your thick skulls, you fucking retards. WWE has adopted this fake farce known as sports entertainment, and they've destroyed their company from within. Cody Rhodes represents everything that WWE has shunned away from. Cody Rhodes is professional wrestling. Cody Rhodes is a professional wrestler. WWE, I've said it once, will say it again. They need to get rid of sports entertainment. You don't need to go TV 14. You don't need to go back to the Attitude Era. NXT was PG for how many years? And it was the best wrestling company on the planet. Why? Because they based their company and they based the show around professional wrestling. It's not that hard to comprehend. If WWE does what they should do with Cody and they treat him well, they use Cody. Now, Cody Rhodes, he could very well be the catalyst. He could very well be the catalyst to switching WWE into what it needs to be. Will he be? I doubt it. But whatever small hope that he has, this right here is big. This is big for Cody to come on in and change what WWE is right now. If WWE wants to make an immediate impact, if they want to make an immediate impact and show that to everyone that we have changed and we're looking to move forward in a new direction, you know what you do? You have Cody versus Roman Reigns in the main event of SummerSlam, and Cody Rhodes is the one to beat Roman Reigns. That's what you do. That right there will turn the tide in WWE's favor like no one could even fucking imagine. No one could even fucking imagine. If they do that, it could be a changing of the guard like we've never fucking seen. I'm talking about this could be as big, not as big, but it could be the modern day version of Hulk Hogan aligning with Scott Hall and Kevin Nash. That's how big of an impact it could have. It could have an impact of Cody being the one that switched to WWE's mentality, and now WWE's focusing on professional wrestling. Then more and more people would be prone to signing with WWE, and WWE, they'd be making 10 times as much money as they're making right now. I don't want either company to die. I just want both of these companies to succeed. That's it. I just want both of these companies to succeed, and I want both of them to thrive. WWE has the biggest opportunity that they've had in years. Cody needs to come in. He beats Roman for the title at SummerSlam. That right there is the changing of the guard. And that right there will give more people a reason to actually give WWE a chance. If they don't do that, and they bury Cody, and they treat him like shit, and they merely have Cody there to be their celebratory victory chalice, hey, look what we got. We got one of the main founding fathers of AEW. So, if WWE goes forth with that, there's no hope for him. WWE they've had the biggest opportunity that they've had since CM Punk left. Punk left, and that's what started the downward spiral of WWE. Punk leaving. Now, with Punk and AEW and Cody migrating over to WWE, if they play their cards right, which they won't, but if they do, this could be the biggest thing to happen in modern day pro wrestling. All I'm hoping for is that Cody is treated how he should be treated, because Cody is a main event professional wrestler. He deserves to be in the main event. He deserves to be the face of the fucking company. Will he? I don't know. To be quite honest with you, I don't have any faith in them. We'll have to wait and see. But if WWE wants to really switch the tide in their favor, they're going to have to break this sports entertainment mentality, base your company around pro wrestling, and have Cody be the one to dethrone Roman. Will it happen? Probably not. I could be just talking out of my ass. But that's the way it should go. If they don't, there's no hope for them. There's no hope for him, and we will never see WWE switch the tide in their favor. Never. Now it's time for the Eric Bischoff news. Eric Bischoff, good old Eazy-E. Eric Bischoff, he decided to say something stupid yet again on his 83 Weeks podcast. Bischoff made himself look like a fucking idiot yet again as he claims that AEW doesn't know how to tell a story. He stated, "You could take WWE's existing roster, bring it over to AEW, and nothing is going to happen. It's story. And first of all, you have to have a basic understanding of how to tell a story, and I don't see it. I see it in WWE, and I don't see it in AEW." End quote. WWE knows how to tell a story, yeah. Yeah, because there was such a riveting story with Keith Lee changing his name to Bearcat, and they didn't even elaborate on why he changed his name to Bearcat. What about when Karrion Kross became a medieval hatchet man? What about Tamina and Akira? Oh my God, Tamina and Akira Tozawa, man, that is lighting the world on fire, having Tozawa in a fucking ninja outfit make out with a woman who can barely fucking move in the ring. Man, that's such a riveting story. What about a riveting story where Kevin Owens and Seth Rollins this past Monday, they were fighting to see who was going to get a stunner from Stone Cold Steve Austin at WrestleMania? What fucking riveting stories is WWE telling? No stories in AEW, really. Really. So I'm guessing that everything that happened with Britt Baker and Thunder Rosa from late 2020 all the way to the match at Beach Break, to the Lights Out Unsanctioned match, to the Steel Cage match that we saw this past Wednesday. Yeah, I'm sure there's no story there, right? Sure, there's no story at all, right? What about Darby Allin and MJF and the story that they were trying to tell with Darby Allin and MJF? What about what Wardlow has gone through? What about what Wardlow has gone through and the story that they've told with Wardlow over the last 3 fucking years with him breaking away from MJF? What about Hangman Page and Kenny Omega and the amazing story that they told us throughout 2 years with Page going through heartbreak and turmoil and Omega breaking out and becoming the world champion, and then Page working his ass off to get a match with Omega and get that fucking championship? Yeah, there was no story there, right? Yeah, they didn't know how to tell a story with that one, right? They didn't know how to tell jack shit with that story. What about Jon Moxley and Eddie Kingston and the promos that they had leading up to their matchup at Full Gear for the AEW World Championship in an I Quit match? Yeah, no story there. What about CM Punk and MJF? Are you telling me there's no fucking story with CM Punk and MJF? Absolutely fucking baseless and mind-numbingly retarded is Eric Bischoff. Seems to me like Eric Bischoff, he's just fucking bitter. He's bitter because Tony Khan is doing what Eric Bischoff couldn't. Tony Khan is building a professional wrestling company that's going to last many decades into the future. Eric Bischoff couldn't do that. Eric Bischoff can't do that. More and more and more, Eric Bischoff is just a salty old man. He has become just as bad as Vince McMahon. And I don't even think he believes what he's saying right here. He's just saying it to get attention because he knows that it will get attention, it will get people talking, and people will migrate to see what he's going to say next. That's the only reason why he's doing this. He's doing it because the viewership and the listens on his shitty podcast are going down. What a fucking retarded statement. No story. Really. So all of those feuds and matches that I named, none of those had story, right? Fucking stupid is Eric Bischoff. Those are your news, rumors, and reports. We actually spent a lot of time on those. And we are going to talk about Monday Night Raw. We're going to talk about Monday Night Raw. The shooter, Bischoff, is turning into a hybrid of Jim Cornette and Bret Hart. Very old and very bitter. Tell me about it, man. Tell me about it. You guys have been fucking killing it all stream. Holy shit. If you guys have not subscribed, I know a lot of you have. Please subscribe. And if you haven't hit the like button, please hit the like button. It helps me out. It helps out the channel. It helps everybody out here. When people like the stream, that only means good things for everyone. That means that I'm going to get more eyes. And on top of that, I'm going to get more viewerships, and more people are going to listen to the most intelligent man in the world. So please make sure, share out the stream, hit that like button. You already know. Why don't we talk about Monday Night Raw? A lot of people have a lot of things to say about Monday Night Raw, even though Monday Night Raw sucks. We are going to dissect everything Monday Night Raw related. So, let's talk about the opening segment. We got Kevin Owens kicking off the show. And he started the show off with a "Hey Yo." So nice little tribute there to Scott Hall. Kevin Owens started off the show and he talked about how he's going to WrestleMania. He's going to interview Stone Cold Steve Austin. Yet they're trying to play this up as if it's a fucking match when it's really just a fucking Kevin Owens show. Or a brawl, so to speak. He says, I'm going to the main event of WrestleMania Saturday. Really, so everyone's fucking main eventing WrestleMania Saturday. Ronda and Charlotte main eventing WrestleMania Saturday. Becky and Bianca main eventing WrestleMania Saturday. There's only one fucking main event, and it's the last match on the show. My God, why does everyone sound like a fucking retard on WWE television? Why does everyone sound like a fucking retard? Why? So he cuts a promo, talked about his guest for the KO show, Stone Cold Steve Austin, how he's proud of himself. And I'm going to have the entire world witness the most stupendous KO show as I decimate Stone Cold. The only can that will be opened is an ice cold can of Canadian beer. And I don't even drink beer, but I'll make an exception. Nobody will be saying, oh, hell yeah. They'd be saying, oh, hell no. As I beat the living hell out of you, and that's the bottom line, because KO said so. KO then gave a great-looking stunner to the the camera guy, who sold the shit out of it. Props to the camera guy for selling the shit out of that. Listen, Kevin Owens is great. Kevin Owens is phenomenal, but I don't understand how anyone could give a shit about this. Why do you care? Why should anyone care about this? We all know how this is ending. This is not ending any other way than Kevin Owens catching a stunner from Stone Cold Steve Austin, and he is going to be made to look like a complete fucking bum. Kevin Owens is going to receive the Ascension treatment, the FTR treatment, where they had all these legends come out and they embarrassed them. Stone Cold, he's one legend, but either way, he's going to end up embarrassing. So, Kevin Owens. I almost said Stone Cold. Stone Cold is going to end up embarrassing Kevin Owens at WrestleMania. Why would anyone give a shit about this? Finn Balor versus Damian Priest. A rematch. How about that? Austin Theory, he came out to watch the match. I don't know why Austin Theory is coming out to watch the match. I thought that he was in a feud with Pat McAfee, but apparently he's on Monday Night Raw, and he is in the United States Championship title program, but yet he's on SmackDown too. Yeah. No brand split, right? They need to just end the brand split officially. They just need to end the brand split officially. So Austin Theory came out to watch the match. Very stereotypical, very lame finish. Lame as lame could be. Match by the numbers. We've seen it time and time again. The match on Raw a couple of weeks ago was much, much, much better. Finn Balor, like a fucking idiot, he dropped off of the top rope and he decided to hit a shotgun dropkick on Theory. And then back in the ring, Damian Priest with the fucking reckoning. And he wins it. Match by the numbers. And what happened? The champion loses. Why? Because, hey, we need to justify Damian Priest getting a United States title match at WrestleMania, even though he already lost the U.S. title to Finn Balor. And again, no one is talking about this. They are in a lose-lose situation. WWE has pretty much been turning everyone heel as of lately. Corbin's a heel. Who else is a fucking Roman's a heel. Lesnar's going to go away after WrestleMania. Owens is a heel. Rollins is a heel. Damian Priest is a heel. Randy Orton's going to turn heel soon on Matt Riddle. Who the fuck is there that's going to be a babyface? Edge turned heel? Who's going to be a babyface challenger for Roman Reigns minus AJ Styles and Drew McIntyre? You have about 5 to 6 months. Then you got Cody. Then you got Cody too. But outside of that, you don't really have many top-tier babyfaces. You got a serious fucking babyface problem. Whoever wins at WrestleMania between Damian Priest and Finn Balor, it's a lose-lose situation. Damian Priest is a newly turned heel. If he loses, where does he go? Balor, if he loses, then his U.S. title reign will ultimately be for nothing. And I'm going to question, why the fuck did you even take the U.S. title off of Damian Priest if you were going to put it right back on him in 5 weeks? Stupid, 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 stupid. Afterwards, Theory hit the ATL on Finn Balor. And Damian Priest makes Finn Balor look like a fucking joke. If you're not Roman Reigns, you're treated like shit. Omos versus Commander Aziz. I will say this. Omos, a very, very impressive feat of strength by Omos. Probably the best thing he's ever done. Omos, with an impressive feat of strength, he actually deadlift suplexed Commander Aziz into a Falcon Arrow. That looked great. I will say that. And then he delivered a choke bomb and he pinned Aziz for the win. Omos then choke slammed Cruz as well. And that was it. I don't know what the fuck they're going to do with him at WrestleMania. Thank God we didn't get this match at WrestleMania. We got it here. Thank fuck we didn't get it at WrestleMania. So Omos, he's either winning the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal, but they haven't announced it yet. They haven't even announced the Andre. They haven't even acknowledged the fact that they're doing an Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. Maybe it's not even happening. You know what I'm fucking afraid of? You know what I'm fucking afraid of? And I don't really want to put this out there in the universe. I am fucking terrified. I am fucking terrified that Bill Goldberg has resigned. And they're going to bring Bill Goldberg back to fight Omos. I'm afraid. I'm really afraid. Liv Morgan versus Queen Zelina. Rhea Ripley ran after Carmella. Carmella ran into Corey Graves' arms. Liv won the match with the Oblivion. Who gives a fuck? Seriously, who gives a fuck? Liv Morgan, Rhea Ripley, Sasha Banks, and Naomi. They should all be... Shayna Baszler, too, because Shayna Baszler and Natalya got added to the match at WrestleMania. All of those women should be in higher positions on the card, and they're not. Why? Because WWE pushes the same fucking people over and over again. Get rid of the women's tag team titles. They're not going to make them prestigious. They have no value. No one's a legit tag team. Get rid of the fucking titles. One women's title across all brands. Get rid of the trash. Zelina Vega should not be employed by WWE. She is suited for a managerial role. Put her on SmackDown and have her manage Los Lotharios. She should not be in a wrestling ring. Carmella sucks with this new gimmick. Dana Brooke needs to be fired. Tamina needs to be fired. Lacey Evans, I swear to God, if Lacey Evans fucking comes back after WrestleMania, give me the noose. Miz, he said he was hosting Miz TV with new NXT champion Dolph Ziggler. Who gives a shit? We already discussed the main roster superstars appearing on NXT. If you want to go check that out, go check that out. Seth Rollins then came out, dancing and smiling as per usual. Oh, whoa, you know, same shit. So he said, I found the WrestleMania plan because I am a visionary. I am a revolutionary. So he thought that all hope was lost, but then his best friend Kevin Owens reminded him who he is, and I want my best friend to come on out here with me. So Owens came out, and Rollins said, you have a talk show, and your guest is Stone Cold Steve Austin. And Owens goes, yeah. Well, then Rollins goes, what if I also do a talk show, and my guest is also Stone Cold Steve Austin? It could be Freaking Speaking with Seth Rollins, or I could bring back the Rollins Report. And Owens goes, no, that's my guest. This is nonsense. You're right. You're right, Owens. This is fucking nonsense. You are 1,000% correct, my guy. So Rollins goes, here's what we do. Match right here, right now, and the winner gets Stone Cold. Owens says, get your own idea. This was my idea. So they're bickering back and forth as if they're in second grade. No, I did that. No, this was my idea. No, I deserve the credit. No, that's this, blah, blah, blah. Who fucking wrote this shit? And then Sonya Deville comes out and she makes the match official. Absolutely fucking terrible. And here's the crazy thing about it that no one's even talking about. As I've already stated, Owens is catching a stunner. So Owens and Rollins, they're fighting to ultimately be embarrassed by Stone Cold at WrestleMania. I actually wish Kevin Owens was actually the loser here. Rollins is already a made man. Rollins could retire tomorrow. He can go into the Hall of Fame. I actually was hoping that Kevin Owens was going to lose this match so he didn't have to take the stunner at WrestleMania. You're better off leaving Kevin Owens off of the show. Get the KO show off of WrestleMania and give that extra time to Cody and Rollins. I can name you so many fucking matches on WrestleMania's card that shouldn't even be there. Logan Paul and The Miz versus Mysterio should not be there. Austin Theory and Pat McAfee. I'm interested, but it should not be there. Shouldn't be there. Stone Cold and the KO show should not be there. The women's tag team title fatal 4-way match should not be there. Logan Paul, speaking of Logan Paul and The Miz, Logan Paul and The Miz actually came out to watch the Mysterios match. Mysterios took on the Hurt Business rematch from 2 weeks ago, and just like we usually see on Raw, 50-50 booking as the Mysterios beat the Hurt Business in 3 minutes. Logan Paul and The Miz then attacked. Logan Paul was then cornered by the Mysterios. Rey Mysterio went for the 619. He nearly hit the double 619, did Rey and Dominic, on Paul, but The Miz saved him. Call me fucking crazy. Call me crazy. I don't care about this fucking match between Logan Paul, The Miz, and the Mysterios, but I'm oddly interested. I'm oddly interested in what Logan Paul brings to the table at WrestleMania. I'm oddly interested in seeing what Logan Paul can do. So that I will be keeping an eye on. Edge came out. Edge came out with new theme music. He came out with new theme music with lighting that's very Undertaker-esque. Edge came out with another Alter Bridge theme song. I believe it's called The Other Side. Now, I don't listen to Alter Bridge. I don't listen to Alter Bridge that often. I'm actually going to have to look this up because it actually sounds like a pretty good tune. So, I love the vibe of this. Edge is fantastic. He reinvented himself so fucking good here. And this has given the match with AJ Styles that much more heat. It's great. So Edge goes, I am the benchmark of the WWE. I am better than everyone. I'm better than all of you, and that's it. But that's given. You don't matter to me. I believe his new theme song was The Other Side, like I said. So the theme song, like I said, sounded great. Edge then ran down all of the times that he felt weak, how he felt weak when Rollins invaded his home or Roman Reigns beat him, all that other shit. And he goes, that Edge is dead now, baby. I won't be judged by any of you. I won't be judged by you, AJ. I will pass the verdicts. And I'd apologize if I cared, but I don't. And if you make it to WrestleMania, you will be judged. Literally the biggest matchup on WrestleMania. I don't give a shit who's trying to dispute to me that Lesnar and Roman Reigns is the biggest matchup in WrestleMania history. No, it is not. It's not. Roman Reigns and Lesnar, I could not give a single shit about that match or the feud. The feud has been formulaic. The feud has been lame. The feud has been a joke. It's the same shit every single week. All I care about, all I give a shit about is getting to the match so we can finally get it over with and Roman Reigns can combine both titles and end the brand split. I don't give a shit about the match. This is a different story. I cannot wait to see what Edge and AJ Styles produce. Bianca Belair versus Doudrop. Nikki ASH. Nikki ASH was actually at ringside. I don't know why. But, the only thing I can think of, hey, another women's tag team. They're going to pair together with two random individuals that have nothing to do with each other. Nikki ASH and Doudrop. Guarantee it. We had a KOD and Bianca wins. Who gives a shit? We've seen this match 5 or 6 times by now. Becky Lynch then came out. She attacked Bianca. Bianca was then driven face first into a chair. Becky then wrapped the chair around Bianca's neck and drove her into the post with the chair. And then she said, next week it's your hair, bitch. I don't really know what you want me to say about this match. The match is worthless. No, it's not long-term storytelling. No, it's not long-term booking. No, it does not have any value. The match is only being made because there is nobody else, no one else for Becky. And at the end of it all, whoever fucking wins, where do they go next? Becky is fucking terrible. She's the worst heel in the industry right now. She is absolutely unbearable. Every single time I see her, I want to fucking throw up my dinner. And then Bianca, I don't care how you look at it, Bianca Belair does not feel how she felt coming out of the WrestleMania match. Bianca Belair has been buried for the last 7 months, and at the end of the day, no matter who comes out victorious at WrestleMania, it will do nothing for either woman. Bianca's probably going to win, and what happens afterwards? She's going to go right into a fucking feud with Lacey Evans. Or another match with Doudrop. Maybe she goes into a match with Nikki ASH. Oh my God, that's such great television, right? We had the RK Bro Championship celebration. Randy Orton was giving Matt Riddle gifts, a couple of weed references, weed-flavored bubblegum. Street Profits then came out. They were hyped. They reminded them that they beat RK Bro 2 weeks ago, and they challenged RK Bro at WrestleMania. Orton originally said no. Crowd was chanting RKO. Ford said, "We're way past asking. We're telling you we're facing you at WrestleMania." I like the attitude. I like the attitude from Montez Ford. I like that. So Orton threatened to make Montez Ford leave. Riddle tried to calm Orton down, and Orton calmed down. He listened to Riddle, and Orton actually accepted the challenge. Ford said, "Then, after we win the titles, we'll teach you how to throw a party that's not so ass." Riddle then got serious, and he says he doesn't want to wait until WrestleMania. And we got Montez Ford versus Matt Riddle. More seriousness, please. When Montez Ford, if the Street Profits are going to turn heel, that'll be great for them. But Riddle, I want to see more seriousness out of Matt Riddle. That right there is big. That right there is something that I would absolutely fucking love. So, we get Matt Riddle versus Montez Ford. Riddle was in early control. A couple of stiff suplexes. I like Matt Riddle when he's serious and intense. Ford, with a big jumping clothesline off of the steel steps. Coming back from commercial, Ford with a standing moonsault for a 2 and a frog splash. Riddle mounted a comeback with a stiff power slam, a draping DDT, Randy Orton tribute. He went for the RKO, but Ford countered with an enziguri RKO by Riddle. Beautiful RKO by Riddle. Otis then came out and attacked Orton. Gable then attacked Dawkins, and the Alpha Academy caused a DQ. Clothesline German suplex combo on Dawson, right on his fucking head. Dawkins landed right on his fucking head. It looked brutal. Then we had a Vader bomb and a moonsault combination to Ford, and that was it. And we are getting a triple threat tag team match for the Raw tag team titles at WrestleMania. Lazy, 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 lazy. So, we then had a very heartwarming video package. This was a very, very heartwarming video package by WWE to Scott Hall. Really good stuff right there. I actually loved that. And then in the main event, Kevin Owens versus Seth Rollins. Probably the best thing on the show. The match itself was very good. I'm not going to say it wasn't. The match itself was very good, but how can anyone give a shit? Seriously, how can anyone give a shit when we all know how this is ending? So, the winner gets to host a talk show with Stone Cold at WrestleMania. Kevin Owens took over control with a fallaway slam into the barricade and a senton on the floor. Coming back from commercial, Owens with a tornado DDT and a standing DDT. So, a tornado DDT and a standard one for a 2. Owens then with the cannonball senton. Nice cannonball senton for a 2. Rollins then with a big sling blade. Springboard knee and a suicide dive. And then a second one sent Owens over the announce table. Back in the ring, Rollins hit a super kick and a frog splash. Owens kicked out. Great near fall right there. Owens then with an avalanche fisherman buster for a 2. But unfortunately, the ref fell out of the ring when Rollins actually shoved Owens into the referee. Rollins had it won, but there was no ref. All of a sudden, we get Kevin Owens hitting the stunner. The ref comes to. The ref counts 1, 2, 3, and we get Owens winning the match, and he gets to host the KO show with Stone Cold at WrestleMania. While Rollins is actually the winner in this. Rollins isn't the one getting embarrassed at WrestleMania. Rollins is going to put on a great fucking match, probably the match of both nights. He's going to put on a phenomenal match with Cody. That was Monday Night Raw. I don't care. I don't understand how anyone could care. It is a complete waste of time to even watch Raw. And to be quite honest with you, I don't know, man. I really do wish. I really do. I really do wish that I could just stop. I just want to stop watching, but I can't. I want to stop watching, but I can't. Only because of the fact that I know that if I don't, the people that have come up to me and said to me that, hey, I don't watch WWE anymore, and I watch you for all the news and rumors. If I don't watch WWE and report on it for those people, I feel like I'm letting them down. So that was Raw for you. I hope that everyone had a phenomenal fucking time watching me shit all over Monday Night Raw. We're going to talk about AEW, St. Patrick's Day Slam. We're going to talk about St. Patrick's Day Slam, and it is going to be good. It is going to be good, because St. Patrick's Day Slam, let me tell you something. This was, without a shadow of a doubt, one of the best AEW Dynamite shows that they've ever done. Top 5, easily. This was excellent. Excellent fucking show. Let me tell you something. It wasn't perfect. It wasn't perfect. It was not perfect, but man, they tried their damnedest. They came this fucking close to it being perfect. So the show kicked off with Adam Page, Hangman, Adam Page and Jurassic Express versus Adam Cole and Red Dragon, the former Undisputed Era. So Page was fired up. The crowd was hot. He was taking out everyone. Jungle Boy came in with a huge Tope Con Hero on Red Dragon. And then we had all 3 men in the corner, and we had a triple moonsault spot. That looked fucking amazing. Awesome spot right there. Fish then took down Jungle Boy into the corner. Jungle Boy was isolated. Coming back from commercial, Luchasaurus got the hot tag, and he lit up everyone with a choke slam to Fish onto O'Reilly. A double moonsault for a 2. Super kick to Jungle Boy. All men were down. Cole and Page then faced each other. Everyone started getting their shit in. We had a double escalera doomsday device by Jungle Boy. Bobby Fish barely saved it. And then we had the total elimination, and then Adam Cole lowered the boom, and Red Dragon and Cole win an excellent 6-man tag. Now, I know that a lot of people are going to be questioning, well, why exactly aren't you shitting on AEW because they pinned their champions? There is a major difference here. How many times has AEW beaten their champions in a non-title match over the course of their entire run as a professional wrestling company? I can only name you about 5 or 6. Jericho was pinned by Scorpio Sky in a non-title match. Hikaru Shida was pinned when she was the AEW Women's World Champion by Penelope Ford in a non-title match. We had the Bucks. They were beaten as tag team champions by Kingston and Penta, non-title match. Darby was beaten by Cage in a non-title match. Britt Baker was beaten by Riho in a non-title match. And then this. It has been 3 years, and we have had 6 instances. Think about that. 6 instances in which champions were pinned clean in non-title matches on AEW television. 6. How many times has WWE pinned their champions in non-title matches? Every fucking week. 52 weeks out of the year, a champion always fucking loses. Champions always fucking loses. Champions always lose. It's terrible. I really can't express that. I really can't express that any more clearly. It's quite ridiculous. It's quite ridiculous. I want a show in which the champions look strong. Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus, they're still undefeated in standard tag team competition. And on top of that, they have been kicking ass all year. They beat the Lucha Bros. They beat the Dark Order. They beat the Gun Club. They beat Private Party. They beat the Bucks and Red Dragon. They're on the run of their fucking lives. The Jurassic Express is at the top of the food chain in the tag team division, and they're one of the most over acts on AEW right now. They could take a loss, and they'll be fine. After this tag team title reign is inevitably over, you take a look at everything that Jurassic Express has done so far, and it's only been about 2 months since they won the tag team titles. They've been kicking ass ever since they won the tag team titles. If Jurassic Express are this over right now, they could take a loss and they'll be just fine. Jungle Boy is as beloved as he's ever been. Luchasaurus, wildly respected. Jurassic Express will be just fine. Plus, it wasn't Hangman. Hangman's the world champion. If someone was going to have to lose this match, I wouldn't have mind seeing Jungle Boy lose this match. Or if the babyfaces were going to win, you could have had Bobby Fish lose. It's not the end of the world. Everyone looked strong coming out of this match. Jungle Boy did not look weak. If Jungle Boy took a total elimination and the boom and he kicked out, how do you think that would look? You don't want to make Jungle Boy into an unstoppable monster. You have to humanize him at some point. He's still as strong as ever. He's just fine. Excellent tag team match. I don't know what they're going to do. Could we potentially see Cole and Hangman again? I don't know. Maybe. It should be very, very interesting. If we do see that again, I certainly would not mind, because I believe that they could put on a great second match, and then maybe after that, we could see the dissension between the Undisputed Era or Red Dragon and the Bucks. Maybe we get a blood and guts. Maybe, think about this. FTR, they are now mixing it up with the Bucks again. Think about this. FTR and the Bucks had a little back and forth. And they said something very interesting. How they'll never be the best tag team. That you'll never be the best there is, the best there was, and the best there ever will be. That's a reference to Bret Hart. Could FTR be turning a babyface? Maybe we get blood and guts at Double or Nothing. Maybe we see Hangman, Jurassic Express, or maybe the Dark Order. Maybe we see Hangman, the Dark Order, and FTR. And they face Adam Cole, Red Dragon, and the Young Bucks. And we get the blood and guts match. Because Kenny, he's obviously not coming back until the end of the year. He's getting these surgeries one at a time, and he's going to have a lot. He's going to have a lot of time to recover. If we get the blood and guts match, I mean, I don't know about you. I think that could be quite fucking interesting. I wouldn't mind it. I wouldn't mind it at all. Matter of fact, I would actually go forth with that idea. If you're not going to do another world title match between those two, I would go forth with Blood and Guts at Double or Nothing. I'd go for it. Jon Moxley and Bryan Danielson. They took on Chuck Taylor and Wheeler Yuta. This was a great tag team match. And it just goes to show you how good Moxley and Bryan are. Wheeler Yuta, this was the best that Wheeler Yuta has ever looked. And let me tell you something. Wheeler Yuta is going to be a big-time player sooner rather than later. If he can do this with two big players like Moxley and Bryan, he's going to be big in due time. So, Taylor tried to regain control with a single leg crab, but Bryan tagged in Moxley. Moxley then saved Bryan. They isolated Chuck Taylor. Coming back from commercial, Wheeler Yuta then lit up Jon Moxley. Big lariat. Yuta came back with a snap German suplex for a 2. Moxley then with a cutter. Heart attack by Moxley and Bryan. Taylor saved the match. Moxley then with a paradigm shift to Chuck Taylor on the floor. Bryan, this was a great moment right here. Bryan was kicking Wheeler Yuta, and Wheeler Yuta was hyping himself up, and he actually fought back against Bryan. He caught a regal plex, did Yuta, but he kicked out. Yuta then got locked in the bulldog choke, and he tapped out. Wheeler Yuta, a great fucking performance by Wheeler Yuta. Afterwards, Yuta, this was great right here. Yuta actually went to join them. He decided to leave the best friends behind. He put his hand out for Regal, and Regal slapped the ever-living shit out of him. And Yuta was getting ready to fucking fight. Yuta was getting ready to beat the shit out of Regal. And then Regal said, just go. I know, go before it gets worse. I know, it could get worse. Just go. I don't know where this is leading to, but holy shit, that was awesome. That was fucking awesome right there. So, back-to-back, 2 excellent matches. They paced the show very, very nicely. From there, we went into the Jericho Appreciation Society commencement. I don't know about you, but holy shit, this was entertaining. This really was entertaining. And I don't know about you, but man, the vibe of this segment, I was laughing my fucking ass off. So, Matt Lee, he was praising Chris Jericho for allowing the crowd to sing Judas. Jeff Parker then was praising Jericho as a human being. Jericho said, the earth has been around for 4.5 billion years, and you are all lucky to be alive during the Chris Jericho era. So he bragged about how he built companies like AEW, but you undermined me and you never appreciated me. You took me for granted. The roster doesn't appreciate me. Sammy walked out on me. Santana and Ortiz disrespected me, and they sided with Eddie Kingston. They don't appreciate me, but these men do. The rest of AEW and the rest of the roster, you know why they're not like us? Because they are not. They're just professional wrestlers, he says. He goes, I'm a sports entertainer. As soon as he said that, I don't know why, I laughed my ass off. I just laughed my ass off. It's great. It's great. So Garcia then said, whoa, listen. If you're a sports entertainer, then I'm a sports entertainer. My name is Daniel Garcia, and I am a sports entertainer. It's so great. It's so great to see Jericho and these guys mocking what WWE does, because WWE, everyone knows that WWE fucking sucks dick, and the farce that they want to bring to us with this sports entertainment bullshit, we all know it's bullshit. But yet they're coming out here. And they're saying that, hey, we're sports entertainers. It's such a great fucking parody. It's so fucking ridiculous to a point in which it's just so funny. It is so fucking funny. Let me tell you something. Jericho could very well get the term sports entertainer over. If I'm telling you, I think I may have to start saying, hey, my name's DJ Storms and I'm a sports entertainer. Yeah, I could be a good sports entertainer. I would be a great sports entertainer. DJ Storms would be a top-tier sports entertainer. I'm an entertaining fucking guy. I got the charisma, I got the talking ability, and hey, I don't have to wrestle that much. I could be like MJF. I can only wrestle when it matters. I would be the best sports entertainer of the modern era. I'm a fucking sports entertainer. So, this was fucking great. Jericho then said he got 2.0 a job when he got a phone call from his buddy Kevin. Then he goes, these guys aren't 2.0. These guys will go by their real names, which is what did he say? Daddy Magic, Matthew Lee, and then Cool Hand Angelo Parker. Meanwhile, he's not going by his real name. His real name is Christopher Irvine. It's so stupid, but it's so fucking funny at the same time. I love it. Hager then said, we are the JAS and we beat up pro wrestlers. Jericho then said, this is a new era, the era of the sports entertainer. I'm telling you right now, I could not keep a straight face. If you asked me to keep a straight face during this, my God, it was great. I was laughing. He goes, we are the Jericho Appreciation Society, and that is entertainment. Awesome. Awesome. I'm telling you right now, I don't want to jump the gun, but holy shit. If they play their cards right, we could very well see these 5 individuals being the breakout heels of 2022 minus MJF. So, Scorpio Sky versus Wardlow. This was for the TNT Championship. Sky tried to wear down Wardlow. Wardlow mounted a comeback, a nice belly-to-belly suplexes. Wardlow then with a pop-up spine buster. The powerbomb symphony began with Wardlow powerbombing Scorpio Sky. Oh, by the way, Dan Lambert came out wearing the second TNT Championship. Dan Lambert is fucking amazing. And he's still wearing it. And he cut a promo on Rampage saying, I'm doing great as the interim TNT champion. It is so fucking hilarious. Dan Lambert and the Jericho Appreciation Society, I'm telling you, those two acts right there, I fucking love it. So Dan Lambert was wearing the second TNT title. If they continue to do that, holy shit, that's going to be a fucking pleasure to watch. So Lambert got involved. All of a sudden, Sky rolled out of the ring, and Shawn Spears, he came out to distract Wardlow. So the ref was trying to get Spears away. Wardlow then went back to the ring, but he caught a huge chop block, I believe. It was a chop block by MJF, and then MJF sent Wardlow head first into the ring apron. So Wardlow was woozy, Wardlow was dizzy, and then all of a sudden, Scorpio Sky rolled him up for the win. Wardlow then tried to fight back, tried to fight off everyone. Wardlow got MJF. He was going for the powerbomb. He teased it, but he didn't do it. He went for the powerbomb, but he didn't do it. Spears hit him with the chair right in the head. And then MJF took the Dynamite Diamond ring, punched him square in the head. I know a lot of people wanted Wardlow to win the TNT Championship. I know a lot of people were a little disappointed. I get it, but this needed to be done. This is exactly how it needed to be booked. Why? Because Scorpio Sky, the title win from Scorpio Sky was planned months in advance because AEW has long-term booking. It has long-term storytelling. they make plans and they invest their time in certain individuals. Scorpio Sky, he won it last week. There's no way you're going to take the title off of him. Wardlow, there's a bigger story to tell with Wardlow. It would be good if Wardlow won here, but at the end of the day, this shit is going to be a long-term story told between MJF and Wardlow. Who knows? Maybe when MJF wins the world title, Wardlow could be right there to take the title off of MJF. That could be a main event match. Who knows? Wardlow was never going to win the TNT Championship. Scorpio Sky was the correct winner. The match itself wasn't all that memorable. It was probably the worst match of the night. A very stereotypical match by the numbers. But the main story of this, the match didn't need to be a blowaway match. The main story of this was MJF. And it was MJF and Shawn Spears that caused a disqualification. And then MJF, he paid off American Top Team. Paid him off to take out Wardlow. And now they're going to do their own thing. And now we are going to get MJF and Wardlow going into Double or Nothing. Now, that's going to be a storyline going into Double or Nothing, but I don't think that's going to be the match. And I'll tell you why. Punk is gone right now. He's filming season 2 of Stars Heels. He's filming season 2 of Heels. So he's not in AEW right now. The filming's taking place over the next several weeks, which is why he's been gone. But I have a feeling that we could very well see CM Punk slide in there. I don't think MJF and CM Punk are done. We could see Punk slide in there, and if I'm booking this, I would do a tag team match. Double or Nothing, CM Punk and Wardlow versus MJF and Shawn Spears. That should be the match. That right there would be a perfect fucking match for CM Punk, Wardlow, and MJF. And it gives Shawn Spears a spot on the pay-per-view. That right there would be the best route to go. That's what I would go with. Private Party. Oh, by the way, Lisa, you got to make a choice. Lisa, I'll make it easier for you. Here's how you choose. Which one gets you more soaked? If you can figure that one out, then that's the guy that you choose. But I'm going with Punk and Wardlow versus MJF and Shawn Spears at Double or Nothing. Private Party versus the Hardy Boys. This was a very, very good tag team match. You could tell the Hardy Boys are as rejuvenated as they have ever been. Crowd fucking popped big time. For those of you, by the way, for those of you that do not get it, Lisa over here is a absolute simp for both MJF and Wardlow. So we're gonna make Lisa decide by the end of the stream which one gets you more soaked. So, Private Party and the Hardy Boys, very good stuff right here. The Hardy Boys look great. Matt Hardy's been rejuvenated. He's moving a lot better. Jeff Hardy, it's great to see Jeff Hardy in AEW. The crowd fucking popped big time. They were on fire when that loaded theme song hit. They were loving it. And I cannot wait to see what the Hardys do going forward. It's going to be a great fucking run. So Private Party, they took over and isolated Matt. Matt Hardy then hit a side effect. He hit a side effect on Isaiah Cassidy onto Mark Quinn. And then he tagged in Jeff Hardy. Jeff Hardy, he lit up Isaiah Cassidy with a nice creative pinfall. Jeff Hardy, he hit an elbow to the heart, a gourd buster. Quinn then stopped Jeff Hardy. We had a side effect by Matt. We saw a big splash by Jeff for a 2. Then all of a sudden we saw a double twist of fate. And then Jeff hit the Swanton Bomb, a flush Swanton Bomb. A flush Swanton Bomb on Isaiah Cassidy, I believe it was, for the win. Afterwards, the Andrade family office came out to surround the Hardys before Darby and Sting came out to assist. The crowd popped, and we had another face-off between the two teams. So it seems like next week we got the match between the Hardys, Darby, and Sting, and then the Butcher, the Blade, and Private Party. And that right there is going to be a 8-man tornado tag team match. That's going to be great. That's going to be awesome. That should be crazy. I can't wait to see that. Here's what I'm most concerned about. I'm concerned about one thing, and then I'm interested in another thing. I know a lot of people are concerned about Andrade and where he's fitting in. Listen, I get it. I get it. And to be quite honest with you, I'm in the boat of everyone saying Andrade deserves better. I want to see Andrade in a better position. And if I'm going to be honest here, he's my guy that I would actually have win the Men's Owen Hart Cup tournament. However, I also have to consider this. A lot of people complaining, well, why isn't Andrade in a better position right now? I get it, and I'm with you. But at the same point in time, you need to take a look at everything that happened over the course of the last 2 years. Andrade's not an old guy. Andrade's got 10 years left in this business. You take a look at some other guys in AEW. It took Miro about a year to finally find his footing. It took Sammy Guevara 2 years to become a champion. They had Adam Page wait over 2 years to become the world champion. Scorpio Sky, he lost the AEW World Tag Team titles to Omega and Page. And then Scorpio Sky, he actually waited over 2 years to finally get his moment as the TNT champion. Darby Allin, it took him over a year to become champion. Britt Baker, it took her 2 years to finally find her footing in AEW, and she beat Hikaru Shida. What about Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus? It took them 3 years to finally gain the tag team titles. What about Wardlow? Wardlow, it took them 3 years to finally find a place for Wardlow on television. Wardlow is just starting to find his footing. So if all of those guys waited longer than Andrade and they got their moment, Andrade will get his moment too. With the new Ring of Honor coming around, I could absolutely see Andrade in Ring of Honor. Matter of fact, what if we see Andrade in Ring of Honor? Because we got the Ring of Honor Supercard on April 1st, right? Jonathan Gresham is fighting Bandito. Bandito is one of Andrade's friends. What if Gresham beats Bandito, and to end the Supercard, we see Andrade join Ring of Honor, and we build towards a match at the next Ring of Honor pay-per-view with Jonathan Gresham and Andrade wins the Ring of Honor World Heavyweight Championship. Think about that. If I'm booking this, that right there would be a big, big plus. I go with that. Layla Hirsch versus Red Velvet, that was on Rampage. Darby Allin versus The Butcher was also on Rampage. Again, I did watch Rampage. It was a pretty decent show. I just didn't take any notes on it because it was rather late, and I didn't want to. I just wanted to watch the show and have some fun. That's it. Keith Lee and Max Caster, they main evented the show. And then the House of Black. Holy shit. I got to say something about the House of Black right here. The House of Black could very well be what the Wyatt family should have been. It's going to be great. Main event was Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, Thunder Rosa, steel cage match for the AEW Women's World Championship. The crowd was fucking hot for Thunder Rosa. She got the mariachi band entrance, and it looked phenomenal. Absolutely loved it. Absolutely fucking loved it. Thunder Rosa, let me tell you something. The story that was told with Britt Baker and Thunder Rosa, the best part about this entire match was not only did we get a picture-perfect long-term story being told, not only was this the best women's program in AEW history thus far in their short history, not only did Baker and Thunder Rosa become made woman, not only were they elevated, But the most exciting thing about this is the fact that Eric Bischoff looked like a fucking moron. And I love it. You love to see it. Eric Bischoff looks like a fucking moron. 1 year later, we get the steel cage match with Britt Baker and Thunder Rosa, and it was a great match. Not as good as their Lights Out Unsanctioned match, but I will say this. Despite it not being as good as their Lights Out Unsanctioned match, I will say that out of the 3 steel cage matches that AEW has had, I'm going to go with this match being number 2 out of the 3. It was the Bucks and the Lucha Bros being number 1, then Thunder Rosa, Britt Baker, and then Cody and Wardlow. This match was awesome. Awesome fucking match. Awesome stuff. So, Britt was bleeding pretty early. She got tossed face first into the cage. Britt was bleeding early. Then, she tossed Thunder Rosa into the cage. Britt then took over, slowed the pace down. Rosa was then bleeding. Britt then brought in chairs. Lots of chairs. Lots of chairs. Rosa took the chair. She beat Baker with it. We had a stunner by Rosa. Had a big corner clothesline and a hesitation drop kick that got a 2 count. Baker accidentally kicked the ref out of the ring. Rosa with the roll-up, but there was no ref. Fire Thunder driver, but no ref again. Baker then hit Rosa with a chair, and then she made a bed of steel chairs, a pile of steel chairs. She delivered an air raid crash from the middle rope into the chairs. Aubrey Edwards came in. Aubrey Edwards replaced the ref, and what happened? Thunder Rosa kicked out. Great near fall right there. So Britt, she made a Tower of Doom of musical chairs. It was very similar. If you guys remember the Royal Rumble 2017, do you remember when Roman Reigns and Kevin Owens had a no DQ match and you saw Roman Reigns Superman punch Owens and Owens went back first into like a Tower of Doom of steel chairs? That's what this reminded me of. And Britt Baker fell back first onto it. Absolutely no fucking give. No give. That must have sucked for Baker. So Baker kicked out. Baker then pulled out thumbtacks. Of course she did. Of course she did. What would it be? A Thunder Rosa Britt Baker match without thumbtacks? What would it be? Rosa then got dropped onto the tacks. We had a lockjaw attempt. Rosa then bit Baker's hand and then smashed Baker's hand into the thumbtacks. A great fucking spot. Powerbomb onto the tacks. Then all of a sudden we had Britt Baker hitting Thunder Rosa in the head with a chair. Thunder Rosa was trying to get her wits about her. And then we had a Fire Thunder driver into the tacks, and Rosa wins the match. Phenomenal match. It got a 4 out of 5 stars from Dave Meltzer. Well deserved. All right. That's actually the rating that I would give it. That was definitely a 4-star match. Great 4-star match. 4 out of 5 stars. And Thunder Rosa is your new AEW Women's World Champion. Exactly how it should have happened. Britt Baker's title reign was great. Her title reign was great. She's had some great matches with Chris Statlander and Red Velvet, Ty Conti, Ruby Soho. But now it was time. It was now time, and we got the right ending. We got Britt Baker dropping the title to Thunder Rosa 1 year after the Lights Out Unsanctioned match. It is so fucking poetic. It is so poetic, and I love it. So poetic, justified, and it was very, very, very heartwarming to see that reaction from Thunder Rosa. Dustin Rhodes came out to support her, and now with Thunder Rosa as the top woman in the division, I'm telling you right now, it is going to be a very, 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 very fun run. Lisa, I saw what you said. Chris Statlander came out wearing all black, joining the House of Black. Let me tell you something. If that happens, I would put Chris Statlander at the top of the list, taking the title off of Thunder Rosa. A heel Chris Statlander, a part of the House of Black, versus Thunder Rosa, that would be great. That would be awesome. This was one of the best AEW Dynamites ever. Top 5 easily. And if anyone wants to tell you that AEW is not succeeding and AEW is in the mud, look at what they did here and look at what they did with Double or Nothing. Double or Nothing sold out with over $1,100,000 in revenue. And they're going to gain more. Plus the pay-per-view revenue. They are absolutely fucking killing it. Really, really, really good stuff. And let me tell you something. With Ring of Honor now under Tony Khan's control, you know what I'm going to do? I may very well watch that Ring of Honor Supercard of Honor. I'm not going to cover it, but I may very well watch it. I am really, 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 really interested in this Ring of Honor Supercard. Ring of Honor, that's going to be the gateway for Ring of Honor fans to come watch AEW. Great, great, great stuff. I absolutely love this episode of Dynamite, and I cannot wait. I cannot fucking wait to see. I cannot wait to see what happens. I cannot wait to see what happens going forward. So, from there on out, again, like I said, I did watch Rampage. I didn't really give a shit about covering it, at least, because, again, it was late. Didn't really care too much. Is it a free event or it's a pay-per-view? It's a pay-per-view. You got to pay for it on Fight TV. It is indeed a pay-per-view. You have to pay for it on Fight TV. So, from there on out, we go into NXT UK. And we'll talk about NXT UK in just a little bit. But one thing's for sure. DJ Storms would not be possible. DJ Storms would not be possible without you. DJ Storms would not be possible without you guys coming in to support me. And I greatly appreciate every single one of you. You guys have been fantastic. And I could not have risen to such prominence in the IWC without you. I'm talking about Dee Dee, Danielle, Lisa, Adam Carl, Earl Cole, Peanuts, DJ Sums, Matt Moody, everyone that has come out to support me. You guys have been amazing. And I greatly appreciate every single one of you. You guys have been fantastic. And I really do hope, I really, really, really do hope that you guys stick with me going forward. You guys are awesome. Let's talk about NXT UK. And then we'll talk about SmackDown, and then we can get the fuck out of here. NXT UK. Much better this week. Much better this week. We have the crowd back. Very happy that we have the crowd back. And it should stay that way. It should really stay that way. By the way, let's just be real here. The UK fucking sucks in terms of COVID restrictions. Bunch of liberal cucks over there that still believe that COVID is just as serious as people make it out to be. It's not. But anyway. Let's talk about NXT UK. Fans are back. Great to see. Tyler Bate versus Oliver Carter. Tyler Bate and Oliver Carter, they started the show, and it was a great match. Probably the best match on the show. Oliver Carter and Tyler Bate. We had some nice counters early on. Carter was in firm control. We had a springboard drop kick and an axe kick for a 2. Bate with the exploder suplex and a standing shooting star for a 2. Bate with an airplane spin. Carter with a super kick and a full Nelson backbreaker. Then he hit a punt kick. We had a flip axe kick by Oliver Carter, a capo kick by Bate, and then a slingshot lariat by Bate. He goes for the Tyler driver, a Hurricane Rana pin by Carter for a 2. Great sequence right there. Bate then was down. Seven and Smith got into it on the outside, and Carter rolled up Bate for the pin. A great match, don't get me wrong, but the ending was shit. Too many fucking champions. Too many champions in WWE are getting pinned. Too many fucking champions in WWE are getting pinned, and it needs to fucking stop. It needs to stop. Stop pinning every single champion in the WWE. Stop. But the match was great. Probably the best match of the night. We had a great vignette by Wild Boar, Mike Hitchman. He promised to put any dentist through hell. Glad that Wild Boar is back, and he is in a position where he's fighting symbiosis. Nina Samuels versus Amelia Mckenzie. Let me tell you something. Nina Samuels sucks as a gimmick. The gimmick that Nina Samuels is pulling sucks, but I will say this. She's not terrible in the ring. She's a lot better than most in the ring. She could use a little bit more intensity, but she's not bad. Nina Samuels tried to wear down Mckenzie. We had a big hair whip. Nina Samuels with a drop kick against the ropes. That got a 2. We had a German suplex and a tope suicida by Amelia Mckenzie. Amelia really carried this match. Let's be real here. Amelia carried this match. Nina Samuels then pulled Mckenzie off the top by her hair and then hit a big boot for a 2. Nina Samuels with a moonsault. She missed the moonsault, but it actually looked great. She has a better fucking moonsault than Charlotte Flair. And then Mckenzie won with the spear. If Mckenzie is going to be the next challenger for Meiko Satomura and the United Kingdom Women's Championship, I would not mind that. I would not mind that. Speaking of which, we actually have that match next week. It's going to be Isla Dawn versus Meiko Satomura for the NXT UK Women's title. Aaliyah James versus Stevie Turner. Aaliyah James actually ain't half bad. I will say that. Aaliyah James almost reminds me of a British kitty version of Casey Catanzaro. I like what Aaliyah James can do. She ain't half bad. Aaliyah James actually won. So, good for her. Good for her. Wolfgang took on Roderick Strong in the main event. Very, very abrupt ending to the match. It was kind of a lackluster match. I'm not sure what happened here. A very abrupt ending, a rather lackluster match, but Strong ended up winning with the jumping knee. It wasn't what I was looking for, but I will say this. After the match, Ilya Dragunov was called out by Roderick Strong, and Roderick Strong challenged Ilya Dragunov for the NXT UK Women's Championship, and I loved it. The ball is now in Ilya's court. I really do. I love how they're booking Ilya Dragunov as champion. I could do with him being on the show a little bit more. I could do with them actually being at full capacity, a full capacity crowd. But I will say that they are actually booking Ilya Dragunov very well. The matches that he has had has been great. Match with A-Kid was great. The match with Jordan Devlin was great. The match with Nathan Fraser was great. I expect the same thing with Roderick Strong. Roderick Strong, he could very well bring Ilya Dragunov to his best match out of anyone in NXT UK. I'm definitely looking forward to that. Lisa, he is still a part of Diamond Mine. He's just in NXT UK for the time being to fight Ilya Dragunov for the NXT UK Championship, which is going to be amazing. So if you're wondering, he's still with Diamond Mine. SmackDown. SmackDown was fucking terrible. SmackDown was fucking terrible as per usual. I really don't even want to fucking talk about it, but I'm going to have to. Heyman, Roman, and the Usos, they kick off the show. Roman goes, North Carolina. Acknowledge me. So Heyman said that Lesnar wouldn't be there tonight because he got caught up in a snowstorm in Saskatchewan. All of a sudden, then Heyman then says Lesnar's landed. He's on his way. So Roman and the Usos, that they start going away. They start going into the back, and they're looking to get into the limo and get the hell out of there. Lesnar all of a sudden comes barreling in with a fucking forklift, and he pierces through the windows of Roman Reigns' car. Fucking crazy. Fucking crazy. And here's the crazy thing about it. They cut to commercial immediately when he did that. They cut to the commercial immediately when they did that. Legitimately, Brock Lesnar driving a fucking forklift through the window of Roman Reigns' limo, that was the most interesting thing that they did for this feud in months, and you cut to a fucking commercial. This feud has been stereotypical. It's been lame. It's been built up so poorly to a point where I don't give a shit. It's predictable. It's lame. It's sleep-inducing. Nobody gives a shit about it. I'm just waiting for it to be over so we can end the brand split already. And this was the best thing that they did for this feud in months. And you cut to a commercial? And then during the commercial, you say that Brock Lesnar used the forklift on the car, Roman and the bloodline that escaped into another car, and then Brock whipped the door off it and brought it to the ring with them. All of this happened during the commercial. All this happened during the commercial. You really had to cut to a commercial? Terrible fucking production. So Lesnar then cut a very, very stereotypical promo. He goes, "You dare unleash bipolar beast in 2 weeks at WrestleMania. I'm going to do more than blow the door off you. Roman Reigns, I'm coming for blood. Blood. I'm coming for blood." What the fuck is blood? "I'm coming for blood," says Brock Lesnar. "And I'll see you in 2 weeks, buddy." Lame. Boring. Okay. I'm awake. Now Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar. Yeah, biggest, greatest WrestleMania match of all time. Yeah. No, okay, I'm awake. You say I'm falling asleep with Roman and Brock Lesnar. Get it over with. I don't give a shit. End the brand split already. Have Roman win both titles. Get these two away from each other. It's boring. Shinsuke Nakamura and Rick Boogs. They took on Los Lotharios. Boogs won with the Booze Cruise on Angel Garza. And Nakamura and Rick Boogs, they get the win going into their SmackDown Tag Team title match at WrestleMania. There's no way that they lose, right? There's no way that they lose. They can't lose. At least I don't think so. After they lose, who's left? There's legitimately no one left for the Usos if they lose. Or if they win, rather. If Nakamura and Boogs lose, there's nothing left. So I really don't see this playing out any other way than Nakamura and Boogs winning. I really do feel bad for these two. These two could have been a much better, a much bigger pairing than they were. And they were treated like shit. Nakamura and his Intercontinental title reign was terrible. Terrible. I feel bad for him. I really do. We had Jinder Mahal, Shanky, and Happy Corbin versus Drew McIntyre and the Viking Raiders. It seems as though they might be breaking up Madcap Moss and Happy Corbin. And if they do, then Madcap Moss, I'm sorry to tell you, he's going to be on the budget cut list. I feel bad for him because he's actually a very good pro wrestler. He actually put on he put on probably the best match of the night at Elimination Chamber with Drew McIntyre. Madcap Moss is very good at what he does. If he and Happy Corbin break up, he's done. Madcap Moss is done. Drew McIntyre and the Raiders win with Drew McIntyre hitting the Claymore on Shanky, Who gives a shit? This match, I'm telling you, there are so many matches on WrestleMania that are going to be piss break matches. Happy Corbin and Drew McIntyre, give me the fucking pillow. Give me 2 pillows. Never mind one. Give me 2. I need 2 pillows. Sasha Banks and Naomi versus Rhea Ripley and Liv Morgan. Get this. These 4 women are phenomenal. These 4 women are 4 pillars that you should be building the women's division around. And what happened here? They put on a great match. Put on a very good match. And what happened? The match ends in a DQ because Shayna Baszler and Natalya, they caused a disqualification and they brawled with everyone. I feel bad for these 4 women. These 4 women should honestly be in top-tier programs. Rhea Ripley could be fighting Lita. We could have Sasha and Naomi fighting for the SmackDown Women's title. Toni Storm should still be there, and she's not. I feel so fucking bad for them. I really do feel so bad for these 4 women. These 4 women deserve better. These 4 women put on the best match of the night. These 4 women put on the best match of the night, and what did they do? They ended it in a DQ. Shit. Rhea Ripley and Morgan were in control. We had a cannonball by Rhea Ripley off the apron. Coming back from commercial, Naomi with a springboard enziguri. We had a tag to Sasha. She lit up Liv Morgan with some double knees and a double meteor for a 2. Ripley then with a missile drop kick for a 2. We had a backstabber by Banks, a big frog splash by Banks, and then a split-legged moonsault by Naomi. Morgan saved it. We had a big Tower of Doom superplex spot. Great shit right there. And then Shayna Baszler and Natalya caused a DQ. A great match. And what does WWE do? They ended in a DQ. Why? Because the fans can never have anything good because the fans fucking suck, according to Vince McMahon. And then afterwards, what do you think happened? What do you think happened afterwards? Shayna Baszler and Natalya were added to the SmackDown women's, or the women's period, the women's tag team title match, making it a fatal 4-way tag team match. What do you think happened? Of course that would happen. Of course. Here's a question that I would love to know. I would love to know the answer to this question. Why is Sonya Deville still an authority figure? Why is she still an authority figure? Why is she not competing in the ring full time? Why? Sonya Deville is a woman that could add so much value to a women's division that's as dead could be. And here she is in a fucking managerial role, being second in command to fucking Adam Pearce. It's fucking stupid. Swear to God, man. Pat McAfee, he had a meeting with Vince McMahon, and then he came out to the ring and he talked about how he first got into wrestling, how Michael Cole got him a commentary gig. Pat McAfee, he's always good on the microphone. Austin Theory then came out. He was waiting for the apology. Pat McAfee, like only Pat McAfee can. This was actually pretty funny right here. Pat McAfee, he goes, "I'm sorry for beating your ass last week. I'm sorry that your parents raised a douchebag." That was my favorite line right there. I'm going to start using that. When people ask me to apologize, I'm going to say, "I'm sorry your parents raised a douchebag." I'm going to start doing that. I'm definitely going to start doing that. So he goes, "I'm sorry your parents raised a douchebag." And then he said, "I apologize that you're a punk bitch." Theory then shoved McAfee and ran off. I like it. I think that these two are actually going to put on the sleeper match of the night. I actually think that these two are actually going to put on a pretty decent match. I think these two are going to put on a better match than Charlotte Flair and Ronda Rousey. Kofi Kingston, he took on Ridge Holland Ridge Holland, which, by the way, people should stop blaming Ridge Holland for Big E's injury. It was not Ridge Holland's fault. Yes, I'm sure that Ridge Holland is going to work on being more safe, and he actually did. If you noticed, Ridge Holland actually was more safe in this match. He actually took it upon himself. He took it upon himself to make sure that he dropped Kofi very, very lightly. When Sheamus and Butch got ejected, and Sheamus was trying to keep Butch, or Pete Dunne, rather. His name's fucking Pete Dunne. Butch. He's going to be butchered off of the WWE employment list very soon. And then people want to tell me that Pete Dunne is not buried. Pete Dunne looks like an angry British version of Madcap Moss, but yet he's not buried? Sure. Fucking retards. So, I got to give credit to Holland here. He learned from his mistake last week, and he hit Northern Grit, and he took his time. He took his time while he had Kofi up there, and he dropped Kofi more on his back than high on the neck and shoulders. So I got to give Holland props to that. He took his time. He was very safe about it, and he dropped Kofi Kingston very, very, very professionally. So good on Ridge Holland. He learned from his mistake. But it's not his fault. Do not go blaming him. Charlotte Flair. Charlotte Flair. We all know the code here with good old Charlotte Flair. What's the code, people? The code is... Oh, fuck Charlotte Flair! Fuck Charlotte Flair. Fuck Charlotte Flair and all of her supporters, because they are all cancer to society. And I regret nothing. So Charlotte Flair came out to challenge Ronda Rousey. So she challenged Ronda to come out to the ring. Ronda did indeed come out to the ring. Charlotte pulled out a kendo stick. Charlotte Flair, no selling everything as per usual, because Charlotte Flair is a terrible fucking seller and she doesn't make anyone look good. No selling as per usual. She dropped Ronda. Flair was then sent into the ring post. Charlotte then pulled out another kendo stick and locked in this dragon sleeper submission hold with the kendo stick, trying to generate some heat for this match. We gotta generate the heat. And then all of a sudden, dragon sleeper, submission hold, and then we had a power bomb through the announce table by Charlotte Flair, and that was it. Man, they're trying their damnedest to make people care about this match, but I'll give you a little clue here, people. No one gives a shit about this match, and I genuinely hope to God that in this match we will indeed see. Hope to fucking God we see it. We will see beach balls. We're going to see the Mexican wave. We're going to see the crowd chanting AEW. I hope to God we see it. Swear to God. I pray to Jesus that we see it. I'm sick and tired of this shit. Tell them how you really feel. Tell them how you really feel. Ladies and gentlemen, that wraps up this edition of the Lightning Flash Update. You guys have been awesome. Thank you very much for joining me here on the stream. And I hope that you guys have had a phenomenal time. Do not forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Be sure to check out all of those links in the description. Share out the stream on all platforms of social media and tell everybody that DJ motherfucking Storms is live on YouTube when I do go live. Hit the like button if you haven't already done so before we get on out of here. Thank you, everyone. I'll be sure to text some of you later. Lisa, I've been texting you. I don't know where the fuck you've been, but I want to talk to you. It's been a while. Danielle, I'll be sure to text you. Dee, you have a great day. I'll be sure to text you as well. And I hope everyone has had a fun time. I am DJ Storms, and this has been the Lightning Flash Update. I will catch you later. And remember, Who runs the IWC? Who but DJ motherfucking Storms? I'll catch you later.